is December 9th. At about 5:35, this is the Finance Committee meeting. Present are Tom and Pat and John, myself. This meeting is being recorded. Let's go. Is there any public comment?
I'm just here to advocate for my assistant town clerk that I've been waiting
You got it.
for since September.
We're going to get down to there, and you are
You're A.
your letter A. Yep. All right, so no public comment. I guess the first thing I want to do is, anybody interested in taking notes and stuff doing the minutes?
Give me a piece of paper and I will do the minutes.
Perfect, thank you, Pat. Review department requests. I don't believe there's anything except for in the PCFs and the PRFs. So I guess we'll get right into the PRFs. A for the town clerk assistant, town clerk replacement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now, is this one, it was approved already by the select board yet?
Conditional, yes.
So that's just gonna go right out.
It came out into the rain for nothing.
That's
No, that's
I'm going to
good.
school.
We don't have a lot of visitors, so we're happy to see you. We never had a visitor bring us supper either, so
So,
that's good though. Where is that?
John, you know you're on camera asking for something,
I
right?
wasn't asking for anything.
Just kidding.
I wasn't agreeing.
So, no contract.
Please, no, criminal.
Yeah, I gotta find that one there, so. They're probably in the opposite order from the bottom
So
up,
you're gonna
yes.
post that? Hopefully you got some good candidates that are gonna apply.
Do you have anybody lined up that you know of, or
No.
nobody up?
No, she's just anxious to get finally posted.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably reverse order, because they went through
Okay.
somebody copying them, but. Next one is for the Council on Aging on-call van driver. This is,
This is a new position again? This isn't the same one that's been kicking around, is it?
It says new position, different.
Well,
Yes.
it's, depends on what you say, mean kicking around, because it's probably been kicking around for at least 6 weeks for the Finance Committee to meet. But this is for a backup person when the other person is
That's the one that's
on vacations, yeah, so.
right, so they may be there, but there's only going to be one on at any particular time.
Right.
So,
Motion to approve.
Second.
any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Have it over there. Next one is going to be again, for the Council on Aging, increase hours for director and volunteer coordinator from Grant. I don't know if I saw that one
I don't see
in
it.
the email. Don't remember that one.
I actually don't see it. Do we have the,
I didn't see it in the email either, so I'm trying to find it right now.
two there, right?
Make a motion that we pass on that until such time as we see a PCS. We see a PCF. Is that going to be a PRF or a PCF?
I would say it's going to be a
PCF.
Yeah,
PCF.
Okay.
I'll go down and take a look in the box and just make sure it's not still there.
Okay. I said, I think even on the email copy, they didn't see it. Just the report didn't load in here.
Recommendation, we go to D, Highway Department Mechanic.
A second? Or do we?
We don't need a
motion
motion.
on
Why don't, do we need to make a motion to pass on C?
Until, yeah,
Okay, let's skip over for now anyway. Let's hit D, we'll see if we can come up with that while we're waiting for the highway mechanic. They're looking to increase the hourly rate in the application, in the ad to attract candidates. He's not getting anything for the $20 and
21 something.
Whatever.
He said he got one candidate, but once he told him what the rate was, the guy just sort of laughed and cut.
yeah.
so he was just increased it to
25.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
based upon what I see out there, I make a motion to be accepted. That's going rate for a lot of these drivers. 25 away. There.
Right, this is for the mechanic.
Mechanic, I mean, yeah.
Yep, I think even the 2508, he's probably not going to get a lot of looks. But we'll certainly try and see what happens.
So I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it, but I do have some discussion.
Open for discussion.
Yep, discussion?
How is this covered? Would that increase be covered in this year's budget?
Well, I called him today and I talked to Rand a little bit about this so I had some knowledge on it. And as of right now, I believe he hasn't had, he's been looking for, this position's been open for quite a while, so no one's been taking that money.
6 months or something.
Around, right, so if it was to be hired somebody tomorrow, then it would be covered because they haven't been spending any money on this position.
Right. It'll be a problem
And
for
next year, it would be something that we would have to deal with.
Or he'd have to deal with it within his budget. yeah.
Correct.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
because the guy resigned in January.
Right.
So it's been longer than that. Yeah.
All right.
Can I comment? Can I?
Yes. I know this is out of line, but yes, go out of,
I just wanted to say that that posting is so old that the corners are turning. So it's been up there for a while on my board.
okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Any
So
further discussion?
we'll cover this year, but next year will be a problem. Okay.
Correct, if you find somebody. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. All right, next one is going to be a PRF for the police department. Replace a full-time police officer. I did see, okay, so you did find it.
signed off. Replace remaining vacant position not filled. For retirement of Chief Goyette and resignation of previously full-time officer.
Right, when I believe the situation is when Chief Goyette retired, Ian took his spot, and Ian's spot was never, well, I guess it was filled, but there's still a vacancy from
Is it
the-
just a standard officer's position?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah,
Motion to approve.
It says police officer.
Yes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Next one is under highway. This is for a driver equipment operator, Andrew Carview. Increasing hourly rate for obtaining a hoisting license. And even that new rate looks cheap. If we can have it for that. 16 something if I recall.
Okay, he was presented with proof of license, so it's an increase based upon a proof of license. I make a motion to approve.
Certainly deserves that.
Second. I do have a question. Is this is this an arbitrary increase, or is this for getting this?
This is for getting the hoisting license.
Right,
It's
but
pegged to that license a certain amount.
it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
It's like the fire department has certain ones pegged when you increase, and I think the police also.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you. I'm good then.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous? The next one is a PCF for the police department for Daniel Covington. He's emergency and part-time police officer.
Yes, we have two of them sitting here. Or,
Is one a
Daniel
PCF and one a
Covington.
PRF?
no, they're both PCFs.
One's probably for emergency and one's probably for part-time.
There you go,
Yeah.
that's gonna be it.
Are they both under the same one?
Same person or
Both
same
under G,
person?
yes, both under G.
They just want
Motion
get
to
started.
approve.
Was it Covington?
Yes, Covington.
Yeah, emergency and part-time police officers listed as, yeah.
Yep.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Do they, so he's got the budget to take care of it? Did you?
Well, what happens, again, is he only puts so many
find it?
officers on at once.
No, I
So
actually
this-
went back
this
and
guy
looked
will
at
take
the
care
old
of
select board
a spot
packet that was
that
scratched off
somebody can't make.
the agenda
or-
when
I see.
So
it went to the select
he's not
board
going to add a new
the
person to
first
the,
time back in October.
To the
something
beat.
must have happened with
But to
that
add to that, sometimes
And I
he
just
puts on
went-
part-time
I just
officers
went
just to
back
have them on call
to
to
the
fill in when he needs
agenda,
it.
PPP
Yeah.
agenda.
If they're not on
copied them
the
over
roster, you
here,
can't
so-
call them in an emergency or something.
Right.
So it doesn't mean he's gonna have,
right. He's not putting an extra person on patrol.
Right, okay. Thank you.
Any further discussion on Daniel Covington's emergency and part-time PCF? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous.
As you're talking ahead, and you can't find a PRF or PCF for the council on aging for coordinator for grant and so on. So I
Yeah.
make a motion, we pass it up.
Yeah, and I went back and looked at the select board agenda when it was going to the select board and it got scratched off, so, from that one, so something that came up with
Do you
that
think it
one.
wasn't there or something they didn't like?
Oh, no, it would not have been scratched off before the meeting if it
Okay.
was something that the select board didn't like, but something had popped up, whether that was at the PPB level that they pulled it back or what, so.
Okay. So there's a motion to pass over or table, I guess?
Second.
C for the Council on Aging.
Second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay, the next one is a PCF for the police department for Sergeant David Neal. Increase in hourly rate.
Yeah, this one and the next one, they hit their anniversary date, so I think it will.
Contractual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Yes, aye.
Just making sure.
No, I bring things up for discussion even if I'm going to vote against them, because I believe that they should be heard.
And this is going to be the same situation again for the police department for Sergeant Ryan Holmes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Okay, next is resignation from the Highway Department for Eric Slattery. Do we let him resign?
He's already gone, so.
I just had a question out of curiosity. Do we usually give a, whatchamacallit?
Exit interview?
Exactly. Do we ever give exit interviews?
Sometimes, yes.
Okay. It was just curiosity.
The letter he had sent, he had 26 years, I think, with the Highway Department.
Yeah.
I think that was part of the, it's right there. 26 years of employment with Southampton Highway Department. Had its ups and downs. Doesn't really give a specific reason.
No, I just was,
Yeah.
usually a good thing to have and kind of review.
I know Randall did kind of a one-on-one with him anyways, he said, so.
Yeah.
All right. Is there a motion for this one?
Yeah, I make a motion that the resignation be accepted.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous.
Now, the rest of these, I have no,
Right, the rest of them, M through Q, I believe,
Those are the ones that,
were not approved by the peace,
because they didn't have a quorum.
they never formed at the PPP.
Can we look at K and L?
Yes, we should have
Before we
K.
go on to those?
Oh, yes, we have K here for the Highway Department, truck and heavy equipment operator
Correct, it's right here.
replacement. So this is the replacement for the gentleman that resigned.
motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Right, now, what I wasn't sure of was the police department one for the Melissa Roberts Cody. I noticed it was on here twice as an L and a Q, so they were both, The PCF was printed, or it was emailed to me. So do we have that here? That was the last one that just went through. We don't have any more here.
No, there's no more here.
So we don't have Melissa's,
I might have just put it on here twice.
okay, that's what I wasn't
Yeah.
sure of. Because I saw it where it was signed off by Art
Oh, really?
on here.
That's
When I
weird.
looked at it. That's why I didn't know if there was two for a reason, and maybe one of them wasn't, or he held one back.
Yeah, I go down and take a look at there.
Now, this is just curiosity. The Finance Committee has to wait for the PPPB to approve?
Yes.
Okay, there is a, okay.
Just rates and everything that get involved with it.
Yeah, so I mean, the normal
No, both are-
process is PPPB,
Yep,
finance, then select board.
good.
Yeah. So we could just go take a look at what they're.
Yeah, in this case, the ones up above, select board already approved and pending your approval here. But it's not usually.
Make a motion, we jump ahead to approval of minutes from the previous Finance Committee meeting.
Well, 1 second.
Oh, sorry.
So what about L?
L and Q are the same.
Right.
L and Q are the same, but
We don't have L?
we don't have L through Q right
We don't
now.
have any.
Ed's going down to look and see if
To look,
it's
yeah,
down
that's
there.
what it's leaving for right now.
Right, there was one, but I wish I could find it.
Okay.
I don't know where it is. That's just the agenda. Like it didn't download or something. Yeah, maybe. Hope it's not mixed in there. Sending me a little goose chase. That's nice.
Do you guys have a select board ever go down to the MMA meeting and trade show?
Is anybody going?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was on vacation last board meeting, so I'm not sure.
Right here too, I know it's there. All right. I'll find that. Okay, we'll come back to that stuff. Old business, I don't believe that we really have any old business. New business, just not that it's business, but I had received a letter from, there was a letter addressed to the Finance Committee from Jerry Swanson. It was just letting us know that she was going to be speaking with the select board to advise us, our committee, the Board of Health requested an article to be put on the warrant for a special town meeting. It's anticipated the select board will have a special town meeting in January or early February. Is there a meeting already set for that?
Yeah, again, I wasn't at the last one, so unless
Okay.
they said it at the last one.
Okay.
They didn't say one?
No. Okay. So, I invited them to come to tonight's meeting if they wanted to speak with us, and it turns out that nobody could make it, so they said they're not available. So we'll see what happens there.
Charlie's on there. No, he's in Hawaii.
Yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So the way I look at this letter, it seems like, is that, correct me if I'm wrong, is that and I know this has been going on for a while, that there's basically a pay dispute,
Yeah.
and it seems like,
Well, there's not a pay dispute anymore, it's funding of the position at the new pay rate for the full period. There was a compensation review that was done based on a law that came into effect, and the director got an increase in an hourly rate, but no additional funding was added to the Board of Health budget to fund that position full-time for the full contract year. Am I saying that right? Remember that?
So the Board of Health increased the pay rate
Right, and
for
they had
the
to.
director,
They had to.
but they didn't have the funding to do it for the whole year.
Right, but it was done mid-year.
No,
And
they-
some money was approved,
They
I
didn't have the
believe, at the
funding.
town meeting, a small amount.
Right, but for FY '20, they did not have anything approved.
Right, but at
for
the town
for that
meeting,
increase.
I want to say $5,000, the numbers
Right.
that you wrong, got approved.
It was about that,
From one
yes.
budget, and then they tried to get approved from another one, and that didn't get approved.
right?
So it's short-funded under the new hourly rate for the full fiscal '20.
Right, and we, for FY '20, the Finance Committee had, I believe we had approved the money for that position for FY '20. And then when that moved to the Select Board, they did their jacking their funds and took that back away, and they were level funded on that?
For the year, yes.
For the year for them, and I think because was it that we didn't approve the money for the school, and then...
But everybody was kind of level funded.
Right, but there was an increase the school wanted for the new language program.
Yes, and they got that.
Right, and so they got that, and as a result, that money went to the school for that language program.
But page 2 of this letter says here that blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, what the Select Board recommended to the Board of Health, the Select Board then chose not to fund by removal of a town meeting warrant article.
That was the last attempt, because what had happened, I believe we had voted it down, is we did not recommend it because the money, they wanted to take money from the, which fund am I talking here? The
Reserve.
Reserve fund.
Reserve fund, yeah, I know.
And I believe that we agreed that it wouldn't be a good precedence to set to pay wages from a reserve fund.
So where's the money going to come from if we have a special town meeting?
Well, that's just it. They had the decision, because it was level funded, to cut hours of the health director or
Right.
the assistant in order to fund the health director at the full rate. Kind of put him in a little
Yeah, and they
quandary.
decided not to do that, and now we're going to be left with a 4-month gap.
But the Board of Health didn't approve that new rate for quite a long time. It was approved by Ed at town meeting, but the Board of Health had to approve the pay rate, and it wasn't done for, I think that's Edward.
Yeah, it was on our list of a redo from last week, so there may have been an issue with the original. I remember there was a couple of issues with a couple of the police department ones that it really wasn't spelled out where they were non-benefited and hours. So
Some
it might have been one of
limited
them.
hours and stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
So, and the other thing, the Board of Health now has 2 new members versus when that happened. Yeah.
But how could, as a town,
Well, hold on, before you go, we're talking about
Okay.
the Board of Health increase in pay for the director.
Oh, okay.
as a townsperson, if I had the choice between somebody working, say, 24 hours a month for 12 months versus 32 hours a month for
A week, you
8
mean?
months,
Yeah.
a week,
Yeah.
for 8 months and then 4 months being shut down, I'm going to go with the reduced hours.
Right. And that's a Board of Health decision. They control that.
Completely?
They control the hours of the board, the office, right? Board of Health?
Yeah, yeah.
So they can just shut they can just shut the department down for 4 months without any town hall small input.
Well, if they run out of money and they have no choice.
Yeah. And they've shut down, like, they're only open 4 days, and then I think one day they said it's office hours, which didn't go over well with people.
Yeah, so they've changed away from that.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see where the finance committee's fight is, and you hand it to a town meeting and let the people vote on it.
Well, it's just a matter of where the funds come from.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know
That's
where
the
it got,
whole
where
thing.
that warrant got killed, because I know we turned it down here, and then went to the select board, and didn't end up at the town meeting, so I don't know what happened there. If the select board took it down, or if it got...
Yeah, they basically said, come back again once,
The new board.
yeah, well, not necessarily a new board.
Okay, I didn't know
but-
if they retracted it, or
Yeah.
if the select board...
No, because
Took it away.
originally, the original request was out of free cash. We didn't have free cash certified, so then they went to stabilization, and basically the board said, come back for the next special when you may have more funding options and then have a clearer budget picture. Yeah.
Which will be
Okay.
January.
I do have a concern. I do not want to pull anything out of reserve funds for something. This is, to me, it
Right.
doesn't qualify to be
It would-
pulled out of
I
reserve
believe
funds.
it would set the wrong precedence.
I believe it would set a
Are
terrible
you talking,
precedence.
Dick, did they say reserve funds, which comes out of the finance committee, or did they say the operational stabilization?
Operational stabilization.
so not the reserve.
Well, we don't have any reserve funds.
Right, but the reserve fund
Right, we're not
technically
the
is the
reserve fund,
finance committee, yeah, I just
Yeah.
Right.
get the right words in there.
Yep. Yep. All right.
Okay.
Okay, we have nothing from
So
L to Q?
We're gonna talk about-
Nothing from L to Q.
Right. So we are done with those.
Do you need a motion to table those, or no?
Well, no, because they haven't really been presented.
We don't have them, right?
Yeah, because they weren't acted on by BBB.
Right, so this was just, you know, for the funding for health director, that was just like an FYI, I guess, that we're all in the loop. And they may be wanting to meet with us eventually on that. Other new business, I guess, is I received a letter, an email from Francine Tishman this morning. Oddly enough, it was on my work email for some reason. I don't know how she got a hold of that, but it's fine. It still got to me. Did I give everybody a copy of that?
Which one?
I thought I made a copy. of this.
Yeah, I got this right here. This is the new bylaws.
Yep, right, there's a change in the bylaws, so, or they want it, it's a proposed change, so, you know, whether you want to discuss it now, or you want to read it over and we can discuss it at the next meeting.
But what is the
something-
change that they want to put into it?
Yeah.
It looks like there's only one change at the bottom, is that correct? On the proposed change, it just says proposed change at the bottom, it's section 9, it's the old section 4.
Well, is it the entire thing here? I guess that's not clear. Because I've got proposed change on both pages here.
Can I speak?
Yeah, absolutely,
If it's in bold, is any of it in bold?
yes,
So the bold is the changes.
it's all in bold.
Oh, it's all in bold, okay. 'Cause
Yes.
I'm on the bylaw committee.
Okay.
Except for section 4.
Except for, you're right, except for the small section, piece of section 4. Okay, so that explains more then, because I didn't know that. Oh, okay, it's proposed change at the top there too.
I guess I'd like to know what we currently have as a, you know, compared to what the changes are.
Right, I think we would need a comparison.
Yeah, I mean,
For example, do you currently conduct mid-year budget reviews with each department, committee, and/or commission?
We have not that I'm aware of.
Okay, because that's in here.
Right, I've seen that. You leaving?
I have to go, I've been going up to school committee.
We're having so much fun.
I know. I wish I could stay to help with this part, but I gotta go there.
Okay.
Have a good night,
Thank you,
Lucy.
Thank you for approving my.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good luck in your search.
Thank you.
So this didn't come out of the select board, this came out of some other one?
Yeah, the committee, Francine's on for this.
Do you know what's driving these changes, these proposed changes?
They're reviewing all the bylaws, right?
They're reviewing all the bylaws correctly.
Yeah, to see if too many changes are needed, and they're parsing them out as they do them.
So I guess another question is, do we have any input on this, or is it just being?
No, it says,
Change.
says, let me know what you think.
My concern is, I do have a concern. On section 4, approval of PCFs, I made the recommendation that, the finance committee doesn't have to see PCFs. But if you have a PRF, the finance committee should have a view of that and should approve it. They keep on saying an extended period of time. What's that, a day? An hour? A minute?
So,
That's kind of,
can we get what it currently is versus what it's proposed to be?
I'll respond to this email and ask her and get the.
I guess I'd like to know what the
Comparison.
bylaws say the current responsibilities of the finance committee is, and then bounce it off against this.
Well, and the other piece of that is, what does the PPP bylaw and rules and regulations say? Because that's actually the governing document to PRFs and PCFs.
and it does
No
say,
matter
that we
where
will-
you run
and
there.
it does say we will review them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the holdup of why we
Yeah.
couldn't throw it out in the first place.
Right.
I'm just concerned about, this may be giving us more responsibility than what we're currently set up to manage.
Yeah, we need something to compare it to.
I will respond to Francine. Now, so I know you're here, John. Is she not the liaison to the finance committee anymore, or you are?
No, I am.
You are, okay.
Yeah, she got rid of that a long time ago.
Okay, I thought so, but.
She's a liaison with that committee right there.
Okay.
Well, no, she's on that committee.
Is she
right
physically
there.
on that committee? Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to know what the changes are being proposed as opposed to what's already sitting out there.
Right, what's being added, what's being taken away. I will,
Yeah, that's generally the way you would look at that is, okay. You would actually get what's currently in the bylaw they're talking about amending, and then you would probably see something like cross-outs for stuff that's being crossed out, and
Right.
something else, whether it's a different color font, or and
That's how I normally did it, too.
Yeah, or if you don't have a color printer, it might be in a style font, or
Italic or-
italicized, or bold, or something like that for additions.
I think though that was brought up, Ed, and they said that was too messy and they didn't want to do it that way. But you're right, unless you get it that way, you're not going to know.
No, yeah.
right.
Because that is confusing sometimes when you see it. It's like,
You always print it, hand it to a third party that knows nothing about it, and say, do you understand it? If they can say yes, then it's good. If they can't, you
seventh grade
rewrite it.
level.
Yeah.
Exactly. Print it so everyone can understand it.
Right. Okay, I will respond to that.
Just while you're talking, do you want Ed to take these since we're already to go?
Oh, sure.
Okay. There you go.
Thank you.
Then we don't lose any more. The next item is the expense and the revenue reports.
The only thing, I mentioned something before, Ted, now it had to do with an expense report, but he assured me, has to do with funding coming in that we're funded for it later on after we put in for it.
Yeah, it's reimbursable.
Yes, reimbursable, so it was within the school committee.
Yeah, a lot of the grants you'll always see in negatives because they're reimbursable grants.
We're July through November is 42% of the year. There's a lot of software support that's like in the 90%.
It's paid up front.
Right, it's prepaid up front, so it's ended, it's dead-ended at that point.
Okay. So I've never, I haven't really looked at, of course, this is my first time going through this, but is there anything on here that you see that kind of concerns you?
The finance committee expenses are at 90%, guys.
Yeah, how does that happen? We got $20 left for the rest of the
John
year.
went on another trip.
It's the same thing, but your only expense usually is the dues.
Right.
They're paid right up front in July.
Right.
$20 is at your discretion, Tom.
No, I looked this over earlier. It was actually an older one. It was 2 weeks older than this, and I didn't really see anything that really stuck out.
How are they doing on winter roads this year?
Winter road wages?
Yeah,
Expenses.
yeah, probably wouldn't even be in
It's not
here
in
yet.
here yet.
Yeah.
0.55%.
That starts in December.
It starts December 1st, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they're doing very good.
They're doing excellent, yes.
0%.
So John, if you see if a certain category is having a problem, whose responsibility is it to?
We actually have just the,
To
we
manage,
have the,
to manage that.
right, we would flag the select board or.
That gentleman to your
Ed.
right, all the department heads report to him, and he has regular meetings.
Okay,
Is that correct, Ed?
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that this is discussed at all those meetings, because, they tend to, this year, and even last year, they tend to really hold them into budget pretty well. Years before that, it used to be all over the place.
Okay.
And I know that Council on Aging van, they've got that other, but it's starting to get up there.
What's that?
The Council on Aging van, is starting to get back up there again.
You mean,
Well, it's 6,500 in arrears for expenses.
Well, that, like, again,
That's a
like I
grant,
said,
yeah.
it's $30,000, it's in a grant, so it's all reimbursable.
What is a grant, then? Okay, I kept on thinking of this.
and there's, Tom, where we were talking about the health director, it's at like 60%.
60, yeah.
Yeah,
And so it's a little 18% over,
Yeah.
something like that.
yeah.
And the flip side of like I think it's the Fritter grant is, even though you start the year knowing you're going to get it and they've given it to you, you don't get the actuals. By the time you do the contracts and get them back from Fritter, you're usually into like October on it too, so that puts you a little behind right in the beginning.
Okay.
I see nothing in here that completely stands right out yet.
Right. Like I said, I looked it over. It was, the one I saw was 2 weeks older, that's what I think.
It's nice to see the group health, Medicare and all that in balance, because those are such, items that can go way out of whack quickly.
All right, so beyond that. The 2021 budget process, we really don't have much to do with that yet, as far as I know, but.
Yeah, that's why I would let you know that
Yep.
the capital requests have gone out, they're mostly back to me now. I have to take them and copy them and scan them and send them to the capital committee. They're going to start in January, and then I'll be sending out the actual budget request probably beginning of next week, and that'll be back due in January, and that will start the whole fund process for
Right.
all of us for reviewing, that meeting with the department heads.
And then I know last year we tried to set a deadline so that we can have the time to
Right. And we'll do the same
digest
again.
things, so
Same again this year,
we'll
too.
have to set that. So the last minutes, I don't know if Gloria has that or when. At the last town meeting, was there a quorum at the last
No,
town
there was
meeting?
not.
No, it wasn't.
There's only
Was
two
not,
of us.
okay, I know I couldn't make it, but, and I didn't know if there was a quorum or not.
The last
Okay.
meeting we had was in this room.
It was here, okay.
Yep.
I will contact Gloria, I don't have those minutes, I'll see if she has them
Okay.
available, so, because I don't have anything to approve. She probably has them somewhere. Liaison reports. I'll start. I couldn't make the last meeting, well, the October meeting, and I believe the November meeting, I'm sorry, I couldn't make the November meeting, and the December meeting was passed on. I don't know when she's planning on doing another one, so I have nothing on the CPC.
Okay.
So,
I missed the last meeting of the PPPB, but prior to that, you've seen all the PCFs and PRFs that have come through. And nothing unusual.
okay. And I don't remember what you were up to.
Norris School.
Norris School, okay.
Norris
with
School
the
Committee.
church one.
Yep, so I actually did make a couple meetings in October and in November. And really, I think the biggest thing is that there's this Student Opportunity Act, which what I believe is the reassessing how schools get financed by the state. And it's progressing through the House and Senate. Bottom line is that the school committee thinks that 2027, that the town's going to have to kick in. By the time we get to 2027, the town's going to have to kick in $5 million by that point.
Additional $5 million?
Yep. So his 2021 estimate with the 2% increase over 2020 was 4 million, I'm sorry, we'd have to make up a $1 million difference.
Is that just Norris you're talking?
That's just Norris. That's just Norris.
So basically, we're taking a hit where
It's like a 4% annual increase versus what we're currently doing. So there's going to be a shortfall that will have to be taken care of in some way.
Is it because the state's cutting back on the
No,
that portion?
it's not so much because the state's cutting back. And I know I'm not an expert in this, and I don't have all the details, but there's a certain Norris got funded a certain amount. Let's say back in early 2000 when attendance was high. Those numbers, there's a number that the state won't go below, even though the attendance declines. But the school has certain fixed costs that no matter how many students you have,
Right.
it's going to be the same. And the thing is, they could lose, attendance may decline from 500 to 450 students. That may be across different grades, so they can't change, they can't let go of any staff
Yep, understand.
because the classroom size hasn't reached a certain point where they can actually reduce a class, reduce a class. So,
Each grade-
staffing is.
Each grade goes down 5%, you're not gonna,
One child isn't gonna matter.
Right.
Exactly, right.
Are they maintaining class size based upon out-of-district students?
I think they can only do so much there, and he also told me that
I would say one of the things, Pat, on your question is, and they look at it every year, and Ed might be able to add more, is that the question's been asked, are we letting charter school in students come in where they keep the classes full, but the cost we're getting is not worth it, so that if they didn't come in, could we eliminate a class?
Yeah, it's
You
not-
know
it's not a charter-
exactly where I'm
It's not
coming
the
from.
charter school, it's.
it's not, it's school
yeah.
choice.
School choice, school choice, right.
Right.
You know
Right.
exactly where I'm coming
Yeah,
from.
exactly.
So in November's meeting, they talked about that. The choice students, I guess the state kicked in 5K back in the 90s.
Mhm.
It's still 5K.
Still 5K.
And it costs more than 5K to educate that student.
See, I was on the school committee when we first approved that, back in early 2000s. And when we approved it, that was also my concern back then.
Yeah.
And it seems to be coming true where I think that they should review, because if we're bringing in students of choice, out-of-district students,
Yeah.
and they're not covering the cost of the student, that's being thrown onto the taxpayers of the town of Southampton.
Right.
And then the
Which is-
charter, if a student leaves the district and goes to charter, I think,
Yeah.
what is it,
Well,
17.5?
depends on what the school charges.
Could be the
Right.
maximum that they could be charged as well. It's up in, it's up in the high teens.
And Smith Voc, there's a, what's that cost, you remember it?
I think they're right about 17.
Yeah, so any charter out, yeah.
So it's just something that they should, something I could say I would be personally interested in is how many out-of-district students do they, and if they're not covering the actual cost of being there, it's a net loss for us.
But the argument's gonna be the same as this over here, is that if you have a class size of 16 and you put 4 choice schools in there, you still got the same class, but you're getting an extra $20,000.
Right, but if you
Yeah.
have 4 from 3 classes, that's 12.
Right, but you gotta get enough in one class in order
Exactly.
to collapse
Collapse
it.
it.
Correct.
Yeah.
From what they've told us in the past, that
Right.
doesn't happen. And from what they told us, they watch that,
Right, and I believe they do, because I think,
Yeah, I mean, I don't see the numbers, I just,
Yeah.
Right, but you can see where my concern comes from. on
Absolutely,
that.
yeah. That's a
Yeah.
valid question every year.
Our
Yeah.
job is to kind of back up the taxpayers on this one.
So there's going to be by 2027, I mean, just over time, that's going to be about $1 million shortfall with this Student Opportunity Act getting approved. The other thing,
what if it doesn't get approved?
I think I don't
We don't
think
know.
that's going to be.
We don't know that,
I
okay.
don't think that's going to happen. They're currently in negotiations with teachers. That was in the November. And then substitute pay. Currently, it's $75 a day, which is below the state minimum wage when you count the number of hours the person is there. So for short-term subs, they're increasing the amount of pay that they do for certified teachers. So that's about it.
Does the school count for minimum wage? I know municipalities do not, but does the school count from that?
Municipality.
It is, so it's in the same circle.
But the other argument is, okay, you get into the, shall we say, the economics of, okay, if you don't really take that into consideration, you're not getting
Right.
people that
I get it.
follow
It
Yeah.
was just for my own curiosity,
Yeah.
not that I want to take advantage of that.
No.
What's minimum wage?
I think it's currently, is it 11 on a order and going up to 12 as of January
It's
1st?
$75
Yeah.
at 6.5 hour day gives you about 11.54, so they're right on the cusp.
Yeah.
But who are you getting for that too?
Yeah. Versus,
Yep.
you know, the federal minimum wage.
$7.50.
7.25, I think, or something, or 7.50, yeah.
That's
I'll have
outrageous.
to say, when
Yeah.
I was at the
When I was a little
Norris,
kid,
when I was at Norris, I kind of liked having a substitute because
yeah.
it was just a whole
Movie
different,
time.
it was a whole different day, you know?
man, different era
Plus the
now.
sacrament, they brought the older gun in for that one. You wanted the regular system.
So that's about it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. The other thing with Gloria resigning, there is, she was the liaison to Hampshire Regional.
That's right.
So that is going to be open.
Right. I mean, that could be something that we can discuss if shared position, or I don't know.
You need some more members.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I sat
Yeah,
on
really
the
do, yeah.
I mean, I sat on the Hampshire Regional School Committee in the past. When do they hold their meetings? Again, right now with the new, I will admit,
Is it a Monday? Do they conflict with the select board, or is it on a Monday?
They're Mondays.
Mondays?
Hampshire Regional on Monday.
Mondays, okay. Once a month?
Tonight, I know that. And I think maybe once a month, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's where Lucy was going.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did say that. Yep. How do we get new members, there, Mr.?
We've beat the bush.
Gibson?
We keep,
I personally think we should look to the audience and see if they have any ideas.
Yeah. Hey, Mike,
You got a busy year coming
I'm
up.
gonna sign you up.
I tell you, Mike, you already know that with a child every year is busy.
We have 2 in March.
Really? Well, congratulations.
Yeah. He's been busier than we thought.
So you really need a paid position. College.
All right.
Yeah, how do we get a...
We can take on 2 more, actually. There's a
yeah.
5%.
So we keep announcing it at the select board meetings, it's on the website. And like I say, if you get, any of you know anybody, encourage them to contact me.
Okay.
Even if they just want to start out, it's a great place to start out, learning how the town operates and everything.
Yeah, it's a great place, it's a great place for that. So I got into it.
All right.
come on, it's ZBA. Only kidding. After doing that, you never want to serve again.
No, exactly.
That's a tough meeting.
So next meeting, I know that they're looking to get, Art is going to be trying to get a quorum for the 19th for the Policy Procedure Board, and I believe that just in speaking with Randall today, I know he was itching to get some of these filled for his department, the next 2.
19th is a what, a Monday?
I believe it's a Thursday.
Thursday.
I believe it's a Thursday, correct.
Select board's on the 17th, if that means anything.
Well, we would have to be beyond the 19th.
Yeah, because,
Yeah.
Right.
but it would have to be beyond that because the PPB still has to approve them, then they go to the select board.
No, then they
which
come
would
to
be-
you, then they go to the select board.
I'm sorry, to us? Oh, okay.
That's the
That's
the
the normal.
normal.
This was a little backwards.
This is a little backwards.
Okay.
I mean, if we go 19th, is the
23rd?
23rd too close for anybody to do that one? So it's a Monday, the 23rd.
I'll have to check.
I don't
It's a
foresee a
little-
problem on 23rd.
I'll have to check with my wife. It's a little close to Christmas.
You can bring cookies.
There you go.
So we'll put it down
And we can
10:10.
make it fast.
Is it just to do these?
If, I'm sure we could arrange that.
I mean, whether it's the 23rd or the 30th, I mean, isn't it going to take some time to get the folks in here? Or are these folks all ready to go and it's just a matter of just saying yes?
Correct. I think that they would be ready to go.
Okay.
Tentative for the 23rd?
Yeah. And then I just, I am on a vacation starting on the 7th, so anything past that,
Of January?
7th of January, I'll be away
How long are you gone for?
3 weeks.
Wow.
I've never been away for 3 weeks.
Jeez.
I've never taken 2 weeks off.
Hey, things change, right?
Yes. Well,
Get them in now.
yep. I won't be back until the 25th, so.
Hopefully somewhere warm.
Hopefully it's gonna be nice and warm.
We're going to be in Hawaii, so that'll be the plan.
You ever been there?
I have not.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. What island?
Oahu.
Oh, be nice. Charlie's there with his wife, and he sent me a picture. It's like, I don't need to see this.
Oh, he cruised out from California, right? I think he went to California and he's on a cruising out to the different
Oh, yeah?
islands.
Okay, yeah. That's a long way.
Yeah, he texted me earlier tonight. It was 80 degrees. I said,
That's
thanks
what
a
he
lot.
said, 80 degrees.
Okay, so tentatively, 12:23 for a meeting?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, and motion to adjourn, unless,
I second that.
All in favor?
aye.
Unanimous.